you start off wide, right? With all these options and choices.
Me, I'm looking for substance. So if you can't come with a substance level of conversation, I have no interest.
Okay.
You black man taking the liking of how my lifestyle is living and how I'm going, man. You being intrigued, man. That's very humbling for me, man.
Yeah, so man, nice to meet you, Donnathon.
Donnie is cool.
Donnie? Okay. Yeah, man, that's a unique one, man. I like that name. That's nice. But Donnie, okay. That's what's up, man. And your podcast is called Whatever Talks, correct?
Whatever talk, not plural.
Okay. Whatever talk, not plural. Great, man. Great. So
No,
I got a
not
hold of
plural
you.
is not part of it. Just there's no S on the talk.
No, I got you. Yeah. Understood. Understood 100%. My wife always tears my ass up about that too. She's like, it's not Kroger's, it's Kroger. And I'm like, okay, whatever, So you a straightforward dude. I like that. You know exactly what the hell you're talking about. You're like, no S on it, dog. It's just what it is. I can dig it. Anyway, man, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Just to start things off, I got wind of you from Ellie or L. There you go. They're going to be messing up names again. L. We were having a podcast and we were talking about religion, and L was like, you sound just like Dunny. Okay, and I was like, oh, I'd never heard of him. She's like, yeah, he's on the podcast panel. What should I ask?
This same question. Donnathon. You know who Donnathon is in the group?
Absolutely not.
No, you have to ask them.
What? Sam, what are you talking about, dog? What are you talking about? What?
Ryan.
I heard way. That's me commenting. Whatever talk in comments.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
cool, interesting conversation. Interesting perspectives. But I think your beliefs should be literal. Yeah, I don't even believe metaphorically. Like, why are you believing in metaphors rather than certainty? And especially if you say
Okay.
you're taking time out of your existence, your life uh, to be- to make the choice to believe in what you believe in,
Right.
then listen to what your religion tells you to do. And if you believe in this, you should believe it in it literally. You should be talking to animals just as commonly and you know as me and you talking right now, because that's a common thing to you, your world or your supposed reality. You should believe that trees, bushes, and any other inanimate object is as me and you are right now. Like me and you are talking to them. They ain't talking to them like, hey, that's strange that this burning bush is talking to me. They're talking to this thing like how me and you talking right now. So for you to believe in things metaphorically, then you don't really believe. Then you're just as hypocritical as you say anybody else is hypocritical.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out: do you believe in the existence of God, or are you an atheist, or what would you say?
I, I mean, I don't really care about labels or whatever, but I understand we have them here for organization and categorizing. So I'll be an atheist just by definition. But no, I don't believe in the existence of what we perceive a God is. Um, I I do have an open mind for the possibility of what we say a God is may exist, but why am I going out of my way to to believe in something partially?
Okay.
Believe in something partially with, but I'm believing in it partially, but with certainty. That's crazy. That's what we call crazy.
Okay. Okay. I was kind of treading the same track that you was on during that interview, during that podcast that we did, me and L. So a good question that I found that was hard for me to answer, maybe you can answer it, but it asks, is God impossible, unknowable, or unnecessary?
I mean, for you to believe in it with certainty is unnecessary. For one to believe in it with certainty is unnecessary because for I feel like at some point in your existence, faith will demand demonstration, and feelings is not a demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you're even using the word believe tells me you have no certainty, because nowhere in any definition that we are taught, nowhere in any definition, if you go look it up, that the word believe have certainty in it. It's a glorified word for the word think. So we're basically substituting the word think for believe, and that psychologically makes it the deal for some reason.
Okay. Okay. I can see that, man. I mean, I definitely get your viewpoints on belief, because that was one of the things that I was talking about is if you have to argue with somebody about your faith and your religion and what you believe in, then it seems to me it takes away a bit of certainty in your thinking of it actually being real. Because if you actually know 100% that God is real, then you need not argue with anybody about it. It's almost like when you have these conversations with people who believe in faith and they want to talk to you and they want to bring in scriptures and they want to talk about this and that from the Bible, these accounts. Nothing's factual about it because it is based in faith. But when they're talking to you about this stuff, they're almost trying to make themselves believe that this is real,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're trying to convince me, but also convince themselves even more so, reinforcing what they believe by bouncing it off of me. It's kind of a weird dynamic when you deal with people who are religious, because they're talking to you like this is scientific fact, which is
Absolutely.
weird to me.
Yeah, yeah. There are. I think they're most definitely aware of their own delusion, and uh, they are aware how crazy that sounds out loud to other people. So they convince themselves. I mean, like you said, they convince themselves. I don't even really think they convince themselves, because I don't see how one can trick yourself into thinking that you're tricking yourself. But for some reason, it's
Okay.
working. For some reason, it's working. But I think it's working because of whatever want is. Like, I don't really think that we're casting spells with talking, period, or casting spells with words. But thinking about it, if that is a thing, want has probably got to be the most powerful word or spell that exists, because it it works because you want it to, and that's it. It's like you're aware of your own delusion, So you make the choice to want to believe that this is real. And
That
I
makes
think,
sense.
yeah, and I think that really, I think this people, period, humans, period, just believe in believing in stuff, not necessarily believing in it in the context of certainty, how we use the word majority of the time. I think we just believe in believing in stuff, and that's right there says it all. That right there says it's a want. You're only choosing to want to believe this because you want this to be real, not that it is real, because you have no certainty on the matter. You can't prove
So,
it outside of feelings.
so you think a part of human nature is our ability to believe and imagine. That's a part of the human psyche, and that is what has brought us to where we are right now. Is that what you're saying? Or am I getting that
Yeah,
right? That
yeah, imagination is your everything. Imagination is your everything. I think if you, I, again, I think we're thinking that we're tricking ourselves into thinking that we can actually trick ourselves. And but for some reason that seems to be working. That's a powerful piece of variation of a placebo that seems to be working, because people are literally harming you because of disbeliefs telling you to do that. Like, you're harming other people outside, and this could be in a vast multitude of variations of what harm is. You don't got to be physical. Like the fact that I can't just go by my day without you forcing your prayers on somebody, like without you forcing um the good word on somebody because you think that a voice told you to say what you just said to somebody. I like,
that's always my question too. Like, because I want to know, like, when you are hearing something from God, when a person of faith tells me that they know something that God has said, I'm like, what did he sound like? What did you, how can you be certain that you're not having like a small dose of schizophrenia or something like that? I was having a conversation with another podcaster named Lonnie, and we were having a faith-based conversation, and she mentioned that she heard something from God, and I was like, and no, I mean, I just want to know, like, what did it sound like? And she asked
it
if
sound
I
like
heard something. I
them.
said, well, I said I would run if I heard a voice in my head telling me to do something. It wouldn't feel good to me. And I don't know. I mean, I can't. I want people to want to believe what they want to believe. And I'm like you. I don't want it to always be impressed onto me. And I will clear this up. I am not an atheist. I actually believe in the existence of God. I just don't know what he is, except I'm not seeing miracles on earth. Okay. I'm not going to make myself feel like I'm seeing someone turn one or two fish into like enough fish to feed a whole block of people. I've never seen a miracle. I can never truly say that I've heard God's voice. I have the ability to believe, and that's good enough for me, because to me, I'm like, where do we all come from? And it's either going to be science or it's going to
So,
be God.
so why do you take the time? See, I just had a thought recently ago from all
Okay.
the conversations I had, and thinking about it, like I let it be known, like I'm highly intrigued with the human psyche, on why we do what we do, why we think the way we think.
Right.
For some reason, we're mixing supernatural with what we call reality, but we believe in supernatural while not believing in supernatural at the same time, which is exactly what crazy is to me, insane is to me. Yeah, okay, but yeah, so what I was thinking about was, The human psyche seeks to be owned, and that's wild to me. Even if it's untrue, it's still wild to me to think that we're seeking to be owned. And I look at that as a variation of self-hate.
Oh, that's a different way to look at it. I guess you are an interesting person. That's the first time I ever heard that.
I mean, why are we downgrading ourselves to think? This is the most popular one to me, that we downgrade ourselves to think that we can't comprehend something. Like, why would you think that you're too retarded to comprehend something, but yet here you are making the choice to conform to somebody else's imagination's morale?
Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't believe in God, you're still making the choice to conform to what we want to call the universe. Meaning that something is giving us this energy, something is waking us up, something is doing us for us, even though we're the ones tired. So why are we taking time out of ourselves to degrade ourselves rather than just know that we can do what we know we can do? And if
So,
you believe in magic and all this stuff, then you should believe that you can leap the building with the single bound in.
so my thoughts is that you think you have more faith in yourself being godly than some other being, or if I would ask you who is your God, you would probably say myself.
Nope.
I'm a god of my own universe.
I mean, nah. I mean, but no, I don't really view myself as a god of my own universe or my own reality. I'm so sorry this is going I don't think it's 8 billion plus realities out here, because I'm looking at you. You're a part of my reality. If that be the case, why am I imagining or creating somebody that I don't even know in my own reality just to entertain myself with or something? I don't know.
I was getting like 5%er kind of vibes at first. So
5%ers. What you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, what I was saying about 5%ers is, so the nation, it's a branch off of the Nation of Islam, 5%ers. And what they believe is that the black man is God, and they believe that women are like the planets, and they basically change themselves into like these you believe that you are of a higher order. You don't believe you're God. You don't believe in supernatural things. You just believe in this logical world, but you talk as if you are the God of your existence and your universe. They're called 5% Muslims. And most of them are in New York, from what I know.
Well, I'm going to call it a extra 5% of nuts.
Okay, so I think we're gonna have to take this whole podcast to figure out, what do you believe? Because I think that's the biggest question here, is what do you believe?
I believe that I exist. I believe that you exist. I believe that things happen. I believe we live in a world where we have to. Well, not we have to, but we live in a world where we're putting accountability on everything else, rather than this is just what happens in existence. You know,
Okay.
and I feel like that's because of religion. Like, religion is the cornerstone of humanity's psychological issues. Everything is cornerstone in religion, just everything. And I know I don't know everything, but speaking in general, but yeah, I exist. I mean, this stuff is entertaining to me, but we have to coexist with white people, and we have to coexist with people who believe in God.
Maybe we can meet each other on a level playing field here. I believe that it's a reason for us being here. And I believe that one part of it is science. Okay. And if you look at the evolutionary track of people coming from primates, right, evolving from human-like creatures, you keep going back, you keep going back to the Big Bang. Nobody can explain past the Big Bang. I've always assumed that something had to create the Big Bang, and that something had to be whatever God is, unless you can explain it. Because, laugh about it, but how do you explain? How do we get here? Because I want to know, do you believe in science? You have to have a little faith in science, too, to believe in something, right?
I have the default faith existence gives you by default. The fact that you are alive, you are a faithful being. Just because you have hope that the next 5 minutes gonna show up. So that's faith right there, just by default. But we like to just throw it in categories, which is what I was trying to explain earlier. I don't really care about labels. I understand what you mean by atheist. I understand what you mean by Christian or this variation of. I understand that because, we have categories for some reason, even though they're all the same. All the LGBTs or the letters, they're all gay. It's just variations of it. It's all the same thing, but for some reason, we just like to confuse the human psyche for just minute reasons, and those minute things are making us think that we're beneath something. Like you don't have certainty in your own beliefs, so why take time out of your life to follow said belief outside of practicing it, as we say, to see does this supposed variation of faith thing is what they say it is. Mm-hmm. Not the whole thing of, hey, well, you get what you get out of it. Nah, that's BS. That's cop-out to me, because it's the same God. Give me some fish too, the same way you got some fish too. Mm-hmm. Some of that bread too, the same way you got some of that bread. Don't give me rye when you had leaven. Hey, he gave you rye. Well, he gave me leaven. Well, it's the same God, and we preaching the same word. So don't try to tell me I get what I get out of it when we're all reading the same book.
So 95% of the world, if not more, believes in a higher power. 99. And I'm talking about from different cultures from around the world. There is a human nature. Most people believe in a higher power. So you don't. So you seem to be like more advanced than the rest of us. So what can you explain that with certainty? What can you explain with certainty that helps us believe that you are actually right versus, us being wrong? People who believe in something, because it sounds like you don't believe in anything at all.
I don't get it. Right? Do you want the truth, or what kind of answer do you want? The truth, of course. Here's the truth. Okay.
You said yourself, like, it's more about substance.
Literally my everyday life, when I wake up, the things I go through, the things I do, I'm definitely finna start streaming and giving y'all the rawness, man.
This thing is very real. It's real, but the thing is, people who do this for real,
it seems that we only come together when it's something negative. Let's try to do something positive. I think we need to get back to more of that instead of the reactions of something.
All y'all come at you and sit your hands down. Let me tell you what's wrong.
They don't think they need it.
You begin to start understanding like this is what I like, this is what I want. You start off
Okay, well, and that's the thing too. I'm not trying to be right. I'm not even denouncing God. I'm not even all this stuff. All this stuff is a possibility. That's me being open to it. But I'm not about to sit here and conform my life, meaning I can't even be me because I got to follow somebody else's imagination, morals of a character. I can't even be me. And if I don't, and if I, even if I think about anything, sin. That's literally me working for what we call kingpins. I like to use Nino Brown as a
oh boy.
Yeah, me working for cats like that. I got to literally watch my back even while I sleep. How is that possible? I can't really even trust the people who I hire to watch my back for me because I got to watch my back while watching my back. And that's and stuff like that. So as far as a higher being, I mean, I stated this before. God can come down right here, right now, and say that he is God. He can even fulfill all my questions by demonstrating things that I've asked of him to do of me to prove that he is God. It shouldn't be no questions about it. It shouldn't be that BS. Hey, no, have faith in me that I'm God. No, nigga, you are
okay
fire right now. Just because you're fire, that's gonna make me believe that you are God. When the religion itself tells you that it's going to be anti-gods, it's going to be anti-this, it's going to be demons, this, it's going to be all this, you can question, but you can't question. So I'm just supposed to take your word that you are the God and or the henchman of the God. So that being said, even if this, I choose to believe that with certainty that God is right here in front of me right now. He done everything that I asked and fulfilled of him. I still would not follow him at all. I would just now know that you exist. That's it. And
okay
that's good enough. Because he is all evil to me. Everything about the Bible, everything about the biblical characters, everything about the words that's been said, evil. 100%.
evil
100%.
okay so that's different, you know, that you feel as though God is evil if he does exist. So when did you start to develop those types of thoughts about God? Were you raised like that, or, you know, when did this start?
When I was able to comprehend what I was reading.
Okay. Were you in religion when you were younger? Did your family have a certain religion that they were with?
It was Christianity, but you know, being the typical Christians, nigga them. Throughout the whole entire livelihood of my existence, of me knowing people, it's still niggas. But this is why I say I think it's all evil, because again, one, I think that you can't not have a belief, or you're making the choice to believe something with certainty metaphorically. It has to be literal, or else why would you do it? It has to be literal.
Okay.
I have to take it literal. So reading the words exactly what they say word for word says evil all in it. It lets you know, the Bible lets you know when God is stating and or doing something. It's not one thing in the Bible that God has done that was good. Everything was
not one.
Not one. Not
Okay.
And this is why I say not one, because a lot of people like to look at that. Hey, what about this? What about this? Well, the government has done some good things too, but they blow up everything else around the good thing. Therefore, the good thing ain't good.
Okay. Okay. It's a bit of fatalism going on with you in religion, man. Like you have zero connectivity to it from any type of level. I'm just curious, like, was it an event, or did you witness something, or did you go through something that made you kind of come to this understanding?
The event.
It doesn't sound happy. It doesn't sound happy at all to live in that space.
I mean, how come it doesn't sound happy? Because
Just
I'm
a perspective.
Oh yeah, I know. I don't. Well, I guess what I'm asking is, um, I don't think I'm giving off the perception of irateness, arrogantness.
No. You're totally fine. What I'm saying is if I'm kind of looking at you and saying, like, if I felt that way, like um, I had no connection to something beyond myself, then I wouldn't feel happy. It doesn't mean that you actually are an unhappy person. You may be. That's why I asked you to explain it, because, like, if you are totally content with this way of thinking and it makes you feel very good on the inside, maybe you should share it with other people, because maybe it's something that we are missing.
I talk about it all the time, but people get their own perspective, because I feel like people don't want to. I don't think people are open as they claim to be. And on top
Mm-hmm.
of that, I don't think people, on top of that, off top of all the conversations, I don't think a lot of them people are being straight up in conversation as well.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I don't think people are being. I don't think people are being straight up in conversation totally. Like, excuse me, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't. When people read the Bible, I think they're refusing to view it literal, because they are afraid of what they're reading God do. They can't perceive the things they were told about the entity growing up. So when people read anything, I think with anything, because people like to look up reviews and this and this and that. Like, just
Mm-hmm.
read. Just read. That's all you got to do. Just read. You ain't got to go in there looking for nothing. You ain't got to go in there and looking with the perspective or assumptions that you already have. And that's what I think is happening when it comes to believers. They're reading the Bible and they can't fathom that God is doing the evil thing that the book says that God says that he is doing.
So what's something that stands out to you that God has done that's particularly evil?
Everything. He ain't he's the only one that's lying in the Bible outside of his hand-picked chosen goons. We call them prophets. So outside of them, which they are too, but outside of them,
What are they lying about?
they're lying about everything. Like, for God first tells you that you're gonna die. Well,
That seems true.
hold on, wait.
That seems true.
Before I say anything, before I continue,
Okay.
I think another thing comes on with our system of placebo, is what I call it. The system of beliefs.
Okay.
Is a lot of the things is language. Like, I've been thinking about language recently a lot. Language, intentions, and I forget the other thing. I always forget that last thing. But anywho, language. And a lot of the language that we're even using in your own native tongue, you don't even know the meaning of the words that we're choosing to use, but yet we're communicating with each other. So we're thinking that one word is this, and yeah, it could be that, and most likely it is, but that's the societal version of the word, the what we call Ebonic version of how we use the word. So you would take that word and use it in context of how society uses it, and that's not really what that word means, and stuff like that helps form the belief system. So now you're believing in something with your mind or intentions of believing in it this way, even though you're believing in it not really, because that's not what that word means. If you get what I'm trying to say. All right, an example, recently a guy was talking to me about, the same thing in religion, and he was like, why do people keep calling him an entity? Like, God is not an entity. An entity is evil and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, bruh. No, it's not. You're just saying that to help fit your narrative for your own beliefs, because that's not what entity means. Entity means just a being, a creature, animal. You are all three of those things. You are a being, you are a creature, you are an animal. That's what being means. It doesn't mean an evil entity. It doesn't mean a good entity. It doesn't mean any specific entity. It just means another existence. That's it. So now that's helped shaping his belief, making him even more crazy than what he's already is, to my perspective of it all, thinking that entity means an evil being, and it doesn't.
Okay, so what has God done that would be evil?
If we're taking all the scriptures and all the stuff, including the lost ones, because that's part, even if it's true, untrue, again, it's still part of the research if you're going to suppose research all of this. In the King James Americanized version of the Bible, first lie, you gonna die if you eat this. They didn't die. In fact, if you're believing in this stuff again, literally, these people lived to be nearly 1,000 years old. Adam died in his 900 and I think 30 or 80 something of age. That's nearly 1,000 years old. That's nearly 1,000 years later. Now the Bible says you gonna die.
Now, did he say you would die? He said that you would, that because before that, before they ate the apple, they were allowed to live in that paradise forever. But when they ate the apple, then they became mortal. And that's why he said that they would die. That's to my understanding of it.
But that's somebody wanting to get that from that versus reading the words exactly as it's laid out for you to read. That's somebody growing up with the perspective of what we were told about God and Jesus and all them. These people are good, these people are not. We're reading the Bible, wanting to add that stuff into what we're reading to fit our narrative into making us want to believe again more of it. Meaning,
is that a lie?
Huh?
Is that a lie? He did say, in fact, you would die, and that Adam and Eve died, no matter what time was between that.
Wait, hold on. But other variations of it, meaning Enoch books and the Ethiopian Bible of it, it says you should die, you shall surely die. Well, the King James American version says you shall surely die. The other variations of it say you shall surely die the day of. That right, those little words makes a huge difference. The day of. Now, the thing about the day of is it's not to later on in the Bible, and I think much later, if I'm recalling it right, New Testament later, if I'm recalling it right. It might be in the Old Testament as well, but we find out that a day is not a day. In God's time, it's 1,000 years. One day in God's time is 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, according to that variation of the Bible, God didn't lie. But in our version of the Bible, God lied.
So the people who wrote the book that created the fictional character of God, they're lying to the masses.
They're lying, but at the same, well, we can look at it like that as they're lying, because that's my perspective of it. Because for one, every time a conversation of religion, God, or whatever, it's always from the perspective that no matter what, he exists, or else it wouldn't be a conversation. So it's coming off as if I'm talking like God exists anyway, when he doesn't. So,
I was gonna say that, but you got me there. Yeah.
okay, and
that's why I said that though.
Exactly. So I'm trying to convey that at the same time as I'm talking, but you can't really have a conversation without the perspective of this person existing. Period.
You're talking in like, yeah, I get where you're coming from, and I totally understand that. So since we're talking in that frame of reference, right? And I do understand that you have your clear, unapologetic views of God not existing. Let's just pretend though, if God was real and God was evil, like you said he was, then would the devil or Satan, would he be good because he is trying to ask Adam and Eve to eat the apple, in which God is lying and saying that if you eat it, you're going to die. But Satan is saying eat the apple. So would you think that Satan is a good character in that frame of reference, or?
And that's another thing too, because again, that helps shape your narrative going on the context of how we're using words. Satan means adversary, according to. So there's no such thing as Satan per se, but we're using the word Satan as an actual character, as an actual being. I mean.
Yeah, this is just pretending. I mean, because you don't believe it, I do, but I'm just saying.
No. I'm just saying, no. Not even with my perspective of it. Not even with.
Okay.
I'm excluding my perspective of it, but I'm saying that helps shape people's belief system using Satan as the devil. Devil and Satan are the same thing when there's technically supposed to be two different characters in this supposed religion. And we're calling him Lucifer as well, when the Bible clearly states that Lucifer, going off what we're saying Lucifer stands for, the Lucifer is Jesus, according to. So what are you choosing? You choose to believe in Satan, Lucifer, the devil. They're the same character according to this religion, but now Lucifer is Jesus because of the Bible says so. Excuse me.
No. Huh.
My perspective on it is just, why won't you believe in yourself? Like, yeah, why are you seeking out to be a slave? The religion leads to you being a slave in the afterlife. Is stated throughout the whole Bible. Adding more to God being evil, another example that I like to use, well, I'm going to say that one for later, the Moses, when he was sending Moses on dummy missions, and Moses is willingly making the choice to go on these dummy missions, knowing that they're dummy missions, aware of your own delusion. God killing people because it's a sin to not eat inside of a woman, no matter if you're or not, or I mean, no matter if you're consensual. If you pull out, you're dead right then and there. At least that's what happened.
I've never heard that before, so I have to actually research that one.
It's literally right there in the Bible. Old dude, brother. When you, first of all, another thing, women are the most psychotic human beings who believe in this, because the religion itself has no respect for women whatsoever. They are literally incubators in currency. That's all the religion see of women. Women get they have to marry the for his punishment. That's evil. God is condoning that. God is condoning the fact that the guy didn't want to inside of his brother's wife.
Mm-hmm.
That's evil. Stuff like
So I got this right here. So it says, where did this idea come from? People usually point to the story of Onan in the book of Genesis. Onan spilled his seed on the ground and God judged him for it. Is that what you are referencing, Onan?
God killed him for it. They say the word judge to try to help ease the human psyche. God killed him for it.
Okay.
He was sending Moses on to raid camps, ravage the women. It's all in the Bible. It even states the word ravished. But since we don't commonly use the word ravish, people don't supposedly see that as rape. That's evil as
okay.
Condoning that stuff is evil. Govern unto your governor, your slave owners. That's evil as heck. Oh, but at the same time, you have to obey me and put me first. I can't do that by obeying my slave masters. I have to put them first, or else I'm dead. The fact that you have fear in your makeup, your personality, your sense of agency, the fact that you got fear tells me that you really don't believe in God wholeheartedly. You don't think that God gonna get you out of this. You don't think that your own beliefs is enough, because you're not supposed to have fear in existence. The fact, because you have God in your life wholeheartedly, supposedly, because you only.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
You only supposed to fear God, and that's it.
I'm with you on that 100%. I do understand that. And you see, for me, it's a little bit different too, because I don't necessarily take the Bible literally at all either. I don't, because to me, it seems like it's more metaphors, right? So in order for me to actually read the Bible, like for instance, when he talks about Noah and all the animals who are supposed to get on the ship, how can all those animals fit into the ship? So I'm thinking about it like that's a metaphor. That's something that, and I don't understand it. My thing is that something brought us into existence. Now that could be nature. Nature could be God. That's how I look at it. If I found out that nature, just the natural process of evolution and us coming into existence, if I found out that that was the end all be all, I would still say that that is God, because that is something that was something that has power of creation. God is a creator. Nature is a creator. So they kind of blend kind of well together if you think about it. So I can't necessarily say that I totally disagree with you on some of these points that you make. As a matter of fact, I mean, I don't understand the Bible sometimes. It's very contradictive. And it seems to me a lot of times that the men who created it were kind of had an agenda, you know, especially when you consider slavery and how African Americans were treated. People took the Bible and they used it as a tool to get what they wanted. Just like I can imagine the people who created the Bible when it first was created, needed slaves as well. It all seems like a conditional book to create servitude within people. But that doesn't necessarily take away from my understanding of what my beliefs are in God and being that it's a higher power. I just don't know what that higher power is. Is that okay or is that wrong?
Is it okay? Is it wrong?
I'm asking, is that a decent way, or am I wrong on that as well?
You're asking me, is that wrong? I mean, hey, you're cool and anybody else is cool in my book as long as you ain't hurting nobody else but yourself.
I don't get it.
Do you want the truth or do you want, what kind of answer do you want?
The truth, of course.
Here's the truth, okay?
You said yourself, like, it's more about substance than
Literally my everyday life when I wake up, the things I go through, the things I do, you know, I'm definitely gonna start streaming and giving y'all the rawness, man.
This thing is very real. It's real, but the thing is, people who do this for real,
It seems that we only come together when it's something negative. Let's try to do something positive. I think we need to get back to more of that instead of the reactions of something.
All y'all come at you and sit your ass down. Let me tell you what's wrong.
They don't think they need it.
You begin to start understanding, like, this is what I like, this is what I want.
You start off
That's it. You cool with me because I mean I figure that's a cool person and you believe what you want to believe. I still think you're crazy. That don't mean you ain't cool, and that don't mean that you ain't seen what you claim you seen. I'm a choice not to believe you because you can't demonstrate it.
So do you believe in like aliens and things like that?
I mean, going off the word believe as think, yes, I think about all of that. I'm open to all of that as a possibility. The Bible has aliens all in it. It states it all through it as well. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I feel like you're aware of your own delusion because you're aware how crazy that sounds to other people out loud, but you're making the choice to want to believe in this because I think one of the thoughts of it is I think you fear not believing more so than actually believing, which is why I don't
it's a great insurance policy because if you're wrong, then you get put where you don't want to be after this life is over with. If I'm right, then I could possibly end up in heaven. But if I'm wrong, I just go to where nothing exists anyway. So what's the point in not believing in God?
Nope, you're wrong anyway, because you're not supposed to believe in God as an insurance policy.
I'm just saying that it is an insurance policy.
I know that. I mean, that's part of. I mean, that's a perspective or another way of putting it of what I was stating. Yeah. But you are afraid of not believing more so than believing. Yeah, insurance policy. But if you're right, you're going to be in hell with me because you were only believing in it as an assurance policy. You supposed.
I'm only saying what it is, not what I believe.
Per se, not you per se.
Okay.
I know I said you a lot, but I'm using you as general. But my bad.
Okay, got you. No, you good. No. I'm fine. I just didn't get it.
Not you per se, but people in general who believes in this just for insurance purposes, or what we just got finished talking about. You're going to be in hell with me because you're supposed to genuinely believe in this. You're supposed to genuinely have faith in this. You're supposed to genuinely have that mustard seed. That's supposed to be a genuine feeling. But since you don't, since you're questioning it, that mustard seed is a lie as well. Because later on, it's not about what Jesus really said. It's about what God said. It's about...
Donnie, man, I agree with you I agree exactly with what you're saying, because that's kind of my gripe with religious people, is that to me, a lot of the things that truly religious people, and I'm talking about hard Bible thumpers, those who seem like they have more knowledge than anybody else, those who are always talking about they hear the Lord and they know all these things that nobody else knows and stuff. They are very judgmental. And then at the same time, I feel like they're doing the things that they're doing because they are trying to guarantee themselves a spot in heaven. They're not actually doing things based off of merit and just being kind. It's always an ulterior motive that they have to like stack up this bank account to get to heaven, this bank account of acts, or they have to fight with everyone who doesn't believe in God tooth and nail because they feel like they have to prove to us that the Lord exists. So I kind of feel like you on that. I believe that it's a lot of people out there who do believe in religion, but it's for artificial reasons. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of these people who are so heavily involved in religion, they do the worst things in the shadows. I have people who I know who speak so much about religion, but when we sit down and we have a cocktail, or when we out there just hanging out and talking, and they start talking about the women they sleeping with, they start telling me about all the bad things that they've done in the past and that they don't feel sorry about. I'm like, oh, you just like me. You know what I'm saying? Just be honest. I feel like it's a lot of dishonesty in religious people. So I get where you're coming from with that. Definitely. I do things. Let me just say this really quick. I do the things that I do. I don't do it because I want to go to heaven. Matter of fact, for all the good that I do my sinning. Okay. And I don't sit back and feel bad about it. Okay. But the good that I do it just because I want to do it. I don't think that I'm not worried if God is like, oh man, he did good today. I don't really care about that. I like to be just an authentic person who believes in God.
So you believe that well, you have to. You said you have a relationship, so you think.
Say it again.
I said I was saying that you think that you are sinning, calling it a sin just because you want to do what you want to do.
Well, I just kind of feel like that that we know what sins are because it's defined in the Bible. So if you were to look at some of the things that I do, you may say that, oh, he sins. I don't always think I'm not hurting people purposefully. The most I'm doing, I curse a lot, or I might get a little bit mean spirited sometimes and not do something that somebody else wants me to do. For the most part, if it was a sin for me, my biggest sin would be I got a sailor mouth. You know what I'm saying? I say exactly how I feel. I don't hold back. And it's some things that I like that other people probably be like, oh man, he ain't a good person. And it's all based off of like just the things that I say. It's no action behind it. For the most part, I've done a lot of good for a lot of people, but I'm not really sitting there judging it. I'm not thinking about it in like a collateral term, like I'm stacking up chips for something.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to ask. Like, why is it mean spirited though? Like, why is just because you don't want to do it? Why is that mean spirited?
Well, I actually have a different way of thinking too, because I feel like we should be more selfish with ourselves. The things that we do, we should do for the benefit of ourselves, because anytime you have to do something for somebody else, you are taking away from something that you could do for yourself. So you have to balance that out. And if I'm helping someone out and spending my time and my effort to help someone out, obviously they didn't do that for themselves. So that reinforces the fact that I should be a little bit selfish with my intentions and the way that I handle stuff. I'm one who believes that no one's going to save me except myself. I don't believe that God is going to save me. Matter of fact, the thing that I believe is that the miracle is that you woke up this morning and you can breathe air. Now it's up to you from that point on to do the things that you want to do that benefit you or benefit others. I'm not sitting back believing like all the time, like, God, please perform this miracle for me. I believe that the miracle is that God woke me up this morning. That's it. You have free will to do good. You have free will to do bad. You can do whatever you want to. But the true blessing is that when you wake up and you breathe air, you get to be here on earth and you get to do things. You know what I'm saying? You get to make change, you get to help, or you get to do things for yourself. I'm just not buying how, like, because then, you know, if I don't believe like that, then I fall victim to actually what you're talking about, being tricked, being manipulated. Because the people who wake up and they don't think like that, they end up taking all of their thoughts from church, from a pastor, from the Bible, right? And they interpret these things in different ways. And then, you know, it's people who make you believe, like prophet preachers, like, hey, if you give me 10,000 of your dollars, God is going to bless you with $100,000. That's crazy. That's manipulation right there for me. So I choose to believe that God waking me up gives me the opportunity to do the best that I can for myself and others. And I don't necessarily put my faith in what a pastor or a church or my interpretation of what the Bible is telling me. I just believe that it's free will, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I want to fall before I continue real quick, but I want to fall back a little bit on a lot of the things about the incentive of being good, because I think that's really what it is that you're not even going to think about being what we consider a good person, cool people, without the incentive that this religion comes with. Even if 100% of Earth believes in God with certainty, wholeheartedly, all 100% ain't going to heaven. The Bible states that. That's evil. That's, if you choose that, and that's why I want to ask you this, is like, what is your actual reason outside of insurance? Because it got to be something else more than insurance, because if you believe in God, then you give up your rights to free will, because he's a get down or lay down type of character. Like, you have to follow him or you gonna die, or you gonna wish you would die.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that because
God himself states that with literally throughout chapter 1 all the way to the last chapter.
I get that. But what I disagree with is the fact that the things that we do, right? There's a overarching good. There's an overarching good in the universe. There's an overarching bad. Even without the Bible, like when you are born with some type of free will, and you learn how to be bad or you learn how to be good. I kind of feel like you don't have to actually look at the things that you do with like this intent to think like, oh, okay, I want to get to heaven. Because I truly don't think like that. Time has made me a better person. I've seen other people do things that have been very bad, and I don't want to go that route because I see the effects of what bad does to people. And I'm talking about here on earth. I see the pain that people have to go through because their parents abuse them, or I see the pain that people have to go through because somebody killed somebody who they love. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that from just a human standpoint of good versus evil. And I choose to be good, not because of the Bible. Like I said, I don't read the Bible at all really that much. First time I went to a scripture in probably like 5 months is when I just went there to kind of see what you were talking about with owning. I just kind of live my life based off of the good that I can do. And if that's good enough, then that's good enough. If it's not, I don't know what else I could have done because I can only be me. So when people say like, God says that in the Bible, you know, if you don't do this, you will be good. But that's their interpretation of what they say. Because remember, they're reading it literally and they're interpreting it how they want to interpret it. My idea is that, let me jump back. So like people say like, God hates gay people or God hates the LGBTQ community and stuff like that. And they say, and then they always go to a scripture and they say, well, look what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, God brought down the whole Tower of Babylon because homosexuality and all of these things. But I still tell people like, you still can't judge a person for what they're doing because you don't know how God is using them. So if God is using an LGBTQ person the way he chooses to use them, and say he does say, oh, okay, that person is fine being gay. I know that I said that he shouldn't be, but I'm using him for some greater good down the line. That's between God and that person. I'm not judging that person for what they do. Okay? Because last time I checked, being a homosexual person doesn't hurt me. It doesn't take away from me. It doesn't take away from my community. It doesn't kill anybody. It doesn't hurt anybody in any way, shape, or form. So why in the hell do I want to like judge people off of what I think God thinks they should be or not? It's none of my business. I look at that stuff as none of my business. None of it has nothing to do with me. My relationship with God is my relationship with God. Yours can be totally different. I even think like you might have a relationship with God if he exists. If I'm right, God is using you for something. God is going to show you something one day. Maybe when you get older, maybe you'll change your view. Maybe something that God has planted in you is going to be beneficial to somebody else. It's not up to me to judge you because you have these views about God. I truly don't. I kind of feel like, okay, that's the way God is using him. It's not my business.
I mean, yeah, to that, but yeah, to that. But yeah, I just feel like I'm just getting it as a want. Yeah. Even with
because you seem like a great person.
Yeah, even with the things you're saying is a want. But hey, I feel you because it's a want with me too. Even with all the cliff notes, the literature or supposed demonstrations, I'm still wanting to make the choice of nah.
Fair enough, man. And I don't walk away judging you at all for that. At all.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think people, it's how people perceive things, man. Not per se what we're talking about, but more so as far as just living. Like, cause judge, I don't judge you for that. I mean, you're not judging terminology wise, but you're judging.
Not at all.
I mean, no. What I mean by judging, I get what you're about to say. No, what I mean by judging is that we're talking about people. Like, I still think you crazy. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine. And you might be right.
Yeah, but I'm saying like that right there earlier. That's those insurance policies stacking up because that's you believing in stuff. You don't really believe in stuff. You just don't want to. I really think that you just what we I had a conversation about wolves in sheep's clothing. Like that's perceived to be with malicious intent behind it, but why? Isn't that wolves in sheep's clothing the nigga we talk about? Black people, as we like to perceive every time we hear the word nigga, we only envision black for some reason. How come this sheep probably just blending in for survival? Or this wolf is blending in for survival because it don't want to die. Survival. Or it could have what we perceive as skits. Nothing malicious with it. But you're looking at this wolf and saying, hey, that's a nigga because it's a wolf. Like angels can't be bad. Like if heaven is real, I'm willing to bet a whole paycheck that it's exactly like Earth. You just got superpowered people now, or superpowered entities now that you're dealing with on a normal basis. But if the fallen ones can do exactly what they did, then heaven is exactly like Earth because they're up there making free will decisions to do the things that they made, the choices that they made. to come down here and do what they already knew was a sin, what they already, and they made a pact. They made a pact. Hey man, we gonna do this, or we ain't gonna do this. But let's make a pact that we gonna do this. So if one get in trouble, we all get in trouble. They made a pact. It was literally a pact to do this, to do what they did. So heaven is just like, and that's whack as heck because heaven gotta get them.
Man, Donnie, man, I got. I think L was right, man. I got a lot from this, man. You definitely are your own man, and you stand strong on your firm beliefs, even though those are no beliefs at all. You know what I'm saying? I accept that, man. I accept everything that you're saying today because it's your truth. It's your thoughts, your perspective. I'm not gonna cancel you for how you feel. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate you taking the time out to be a part of this show and just kind of sharing your thoughts. It's tough to be sitting on that, that other side of this, man, where you got a world full of believers and you one of the rare few people who don't have that type of thought process. So, that's an uphill battle. So I respect what you're doing from that aspect alone.
Oh, but thank you. I appreciate you having me come on and talk because I love doing it. That's what I love to do. And I don't really view it as a tough thing to do because it's not really tough being yourself.
I could dig it. Hey, man, so this is Dunny from Whatever Talks, and you are on YouTube, correct? Or any other platforms?
I'm on YouTube, but it's some old stuff on YouTube. But I'm on anywhere else you type in.
Okay.
That stuff. Yeah, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and all that stuff.
All right, well, y'all go ahead and like this and subscribe. And man, let's try to make this video go really high up there because I think Dunny needs to actually do some more podcasts because it's a lot of questions that people want to ask you, man. So I wish you luck and success in Whatever Talks.
No, they don't, man. These people want a great conversation, man. They love to talk about the stuff, but they don't want to talk to you about the stuff.
Right. Well, I enjoy the conversation. So you always welcome to come back to Club Geneva, bro. I appreciate you. All right. Let's keep it moving, man. I'll talk to you soon. You have a lovely night, okay?
You got it. Thank you. Have a good one.
Yep. Take care. Peace.